happening now. Homicide detectives looking at this one, an early morning shooting in York. All right, don't know a whole lot just yet. What we do know, police responding to the shooting around 12:40 at Clearview Heights, which is near Black Creek and Trethewey. Paramedics confirming one man pronounced dead at the scene. And the identity of the victim has not been released. No suspect information in this case either. Now, we are standing by live at the scene right now. You can still see it taped off. There are tarps up as well. This scene is familiar. It was just 1 week ago. Another fatal shooting happening in this area, claiming the life of a 32-year-old man attending a party in the vicinity. We're going to continue to gather information here through the morning. Please do stay with us here on Breakfast Television as we gather more. Meanwhile, still seeing more violence in a community still in shock. 3 young children, one critically injured after gunfire raining down during a birthday party in Rexdale that happened this weekend.
These kids are going to remember this. It's summertime. These kids are supposed to be eating ice cream, playing games. The settings, it was a bouncy castle. Come on now, I'm lost for words.
Police were called to Tandridge Crescent near Byng just after 8 o'clock Saturday evening. A 1-year-old grazed by a bullet, treated on scene. An 11-year-old boy and 5-year-old girl also suffering gunshot wounds were rushed to hospital. Yesterday, police say the young girl was in critical condition. A 23-year-old man also suffering a gunshot wound to his leg. Police do not believe the children were targets. They are currently going through security footage to find some more information when it comes to suspects. So again, none of that has been released. A 20-year-old man accused of intentionally running down 4 members of a Muslim family earlier this month, expected in court this morning. Nathaniel Veltman is facing terrorism charges alongside 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. A 9-year-old boy was also injured in the June 6th attack. Well, June 21st marks National Indigenous Peoples Day. Toronto kicking off celebrations this morning, 5:30, with an online sunrise ceremony. And because of the sacred and personal nature of these ceremonies, the actual moment was not filmed. The virtual event also featuring greetings from Mayor Tory, and Chief R. Stacey LaForme in the Mississaugas of the credits. Now, we're going to bring you to a live look at the Native Canadian Centre of Toronto. The city is encouraging all residents to take time to educate themselves about Indigenous history and the important contributions made by the community throughout the month of June and beyond, of course. And we are standing by live as well at Queen's Park, where later today there's going to be a rally calling for an end to Indigenous youth being harmed in Canada's child welfare system. This protest is being organized by the Matriarchal Circle. The march starts at 3 this afternoon. It's going to make its way to the Ministry of Children and Youth and end at the Native Child and Family Services Centre in Toronto. And you can still see some shoes and flowers lying here in commemoration and remembrance of the discovery of bodies in Kamloops. Now, today, we could finally find out what travel rules will look like for people who are fully vaccinated. Measures expected to be announced today for Canadians who have received both shots, as well as those from other countries who are permitted into Canada. As it stands right now, those without citizenship or resident status can only enter for school or work. No leisure travel allowed. Comes after Canada hitting a significant milestone. 75% of its eligible population has 1 dose, 20% with both. And that was the benchmark that officials said that we'd need to reach before lifting any travel restrictions. Now, some regions are adjusting their vaccine rollout plans as Pfizer vaccines see a slight decrease when it comes to the shipments. So Toronto, Peel and Halton health officials saying around 162,000 Pfizer doses delayed this week. So their current supply will be used to vaccinate those who are 17 and under. Another 2.4 million doses are on their way, not expected to arrive until midweek. Moderna is expected to ship 2.8 million doses early this week. Pfizer says it's going to cut back on Canada's shipments early next month, but the promised 9.1 million doses will still be delivered mostly during the second half of July. So keep in mind you are likely to receive a Moderna dose in those regions. All right, second dose eligibility expanding across Ontario today. So starting at 8 this morning, anyone in the province who received their first dose of an mRNA shot on or before May the 9th can book or reschedule their second dose. Any resident living in of the 10 Delta hotspots in Ontario who got their first shot on or before May 30th can sign up for their second shot on Wednesday. And provincial officials say by sometime next week, all adults who received a first dose of an mRNA vaccine can expect to book the second appointment 28 days after their first one. Now, while vaccinations accelerate, health officials are keeping a very close eye on multiple public health units that are dealing with large Delta outbreaks. And coming up just after 7 o'clock, we're going to speak with COVID-19 biostatistician Ryan Imgrund about what this means for the entire province as calls continue to begin step 2 of the reopening plan earlier. All right, your time is 6:10, and despite an uptick in travel demand, one U.S. airline is having to cut back on flights. We'll take you behind what's there with that slash. 680's Chris McCusker, she's filling in today. She'll join us right after the break.